Welcome to Tuesday Timestamps, a video series where we examine God's time statements found in the New Testament to see what God had to say about the timing of prophetic events. Last week we looked at Revelation 1:1 and Revelation 22:6 together as bookends to the book of Revelation and discussed how those form an inclusio, which means they cover everything in between them. Today we're going to do the same thing, only with Revelation 1:3 and Revelation 22:10. So let's take a look at what those say. Revelation 1:3 says, "Blessed is he who reads and those who hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written in it, for the time is near." And Revelation 22:10 says, "And he said to me, do not seal the words of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand." So the time is at hand is the same thing as the time is near. So we have another bookmark. Before we had the bookmark must shortly take place. Now we have the bookmarks, bookends, that the time is near. At the end of the book, the time's near, and the beginning of the book, the time's near. That means the time is near everywhere in between those two verses. And some other things I want to point out. In Revelation 1:3, we know that John is writing to the seven churches. And he tells these seven churches, "Blessed is he who reads and those who hear the words of this prophecy." So there's a couple important things that we cannot overlook here. Number one is that John is telling them they'll be blessed. And the reason for it is because the time is near. Now, if it's 2,000 years later and those events still haven't happened, then John gave the seven churches empty promises, and he got those empty promises from God, who is not an empty promise giver. I hope you would all agree with that. So why would God give them that message that they would be blessed because the time is near if they read and kept the things in the prophecy? The other thing that I want to point out, and this is stated in both Revelation 1:3 and Revelation 22:10, is that it's the words of this prophecy, not the words of these prophecies. There are not multiple prophecies. This is one prophecy. And I have some videos covering the recapitulation of Revelation that show that there's all this overlap in the different chapters, and you can't just read it chronologically straight through because you're going to be reading the same event you read about before, but from a different perspective. That's because it's one prophecy, and that's what's stated in 1:3. And also John is told not to seal up the words of the prophecy of this book. So it's, again, a single prophecy. So you can't divide it out. You can't say, well, yeah, this piece happens now and this piece happens 2,000 years later. It's one prophecy, and that one prophecy is explicitly stated to be near when John wrote. And as we saw earlier last week, it was to take place shortly. And we will probably do one or two more Tuesday timestamp videos where I'll show this even more a little bit in Revelation. These videos that we've done quite a few. Actually, I don't even know the number, but it's a lot, and they all have one consistent message, and that is that the second coming was to take place in the lifetime of their original first century audience, that it was to take place soon to them, not to us. And I didn't even cover, I might have covered half. I'm not sure because I didn't even keep track, but there's over 100 in actuality. I just stuck to the ones that were so crystal clear. If you can't understand what the meaning of the time is near, then you're not going to be able to understand any of the other ones for sure. And so we'll finish up this series in another video or two. And then I'm thinking about perhaps doing a series looking at every usage of the word mellow in the New Testament. Maybe let me know in the comments if you think that would be interesting. They'd be short videos like we've been doing with the Tuesday timestamps. So thanks for watching. God bless, and we'll see you next week.